What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Half Lost here with another video. So right behind me is a 33 unit apartment building in London, Ontario. So I'm going to be talking to James Fernandez, who's the owner of this property, who bought this property at a good price and is now refinancing for a way higher price. So I'll be talking about all the numbers, be talking about landlord tenant board here in Ontario, the tenants, how much he dumped in. We'll be showing you the mechanical room, electric room, everything that you would probably need to know of getting into apartment buildings, especially older ones like these. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, so we are right in front of the 33 unit build, and I'm here with James. A lot of people might know him already. He started, you got into real estate about 4 or 5 years ago. Why don't you tell a little bit about yourself for the audience?
Sure. Yeah, I started in real estate when I had gone to this conference where I learned a little bit about different strategies that I didn't even know existed at the time. I was working full time. I'm an engineer by trade. I went to mechanical engineering at Renovation. I was working full time. I started doing real estate part time, and then I realized the potential of what can happen. That's when I started trying to scale up what I was already doing and learn from people that were doing bigger and bigger and bigger things. This I bought in 2021.
2021? Okay.
So it's been a few years since. And obviously a lot of renos and a lot of cleanup and that type of thing. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever be going back to anything other than commercial real estate after this.
I see. Because I remember you first started with single family homes and duplexes and converting into 4-unit type thing, and then obviously into this large unit. So if you can run some numbers in terms of how much you bought it, what's the upside you had in this property?
Sure.
And then who was the lender, those type of things.
Sure. Yeah. So the initial purchase was $4.95 million.
Okay.
It was closed privately, so private mortgage. Basically collected my own cash, collected investors and that type of thing to renovate and clean it up. After that, I went with First National Senior C product.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where the building's at right now. And just in the process of doing another refinance right now as well.
So when you purchased a $4.95 million, and I'm guessing you had obviously 33 tenants to deal with, and then you were mentioning that you evicted them most of the tenants because you wanted to increase the rent.
Yes.
So how do you go about this in Ontario? Where can you just evict tenants if they're on a month-to-month lease, and if you want to do some renovations?
It's quite a bit different in Ontario from Alberta. So the tenants that I were evicting were not just regular people paying their rent on time, living properly, that type of thing. These were tenants that were damaging things, that were not paying rent, that were causing a lot of issues for other tenants, that were letting people randomly into the building, that were stealing things or causing damage. Those are the problems that I was focusing on and getting rid of.
Okay.
So that made up about half of the building at that point.
Right.
And I was also able to negotiate some vacancies with the seller at that point.
Okay.
So it helped me clear the building of really the big problems.
Yeah.
And one of the most important things that I realized very quickly was even if I make the units very nice, it doesn't matter how nice I make them if someone has to crawl over a homeless person sleeping at the back.
Yeah.
Or someone on drugs tripping out.
Right.
They'll never make it to the unit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to clean up kind of everything altogether. The common areas are an important part of that as well. And actually that's one of the things I need to redo here now, to just clean them up again. So get the common areas kind of back to the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a process. So clean up the common areas, clean up the units, make sure that everyone's kind of living in harmony.
Yeah.
And that's when you can start increasing the tenant grade or the building grade from C to B to A.
Yeah, to get it up there. So how much did you actually spend right after your purchase when you did private financing? Your cost was high, so you wanted to
speed it up.
Yeah, speed it up pretty much. And how much did you entirely spend all together, including your holding cost, the rental cost and everything?
Yeah, it was about $1.2 million.
Okay.
Spent.
So you bought it 4.95, spent about $1 million, and then you appraised it at?
It's appraised around $6.5 million.
$6.5 million.
Yeah.
So you were able to pull out a certain bit of a capital that you were.
There was still some money left in the deal for that,
Okay.
but it appraised high enough to basically pay off most of my stuff.
Okay.
The appraisal that I have coming up now, it's a little bit higher than that, so
Right.
it's coming in around 7.5. That allows me to pay off.
$7.5 million. This is 5 years since you purchased the property.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's basically like because of the rent that you've been upcharging or whatever.
Well, the rents
tenants
have actually softened overall in London right now. So maybe not the ideal time to do a refinance, but at the same time, I've still been cleaning up the building. I've still been filling units. I've still been, working away. So the overall NOI has increased,
Yeah.
which allows me to
So
get
so
that.
at a $7.5 million appraisal, when you go and refinance it, like, are you still going to be putting the 20% down? What's the amortization looking like, and how much cash flow would it generate?
Yeah, so for the product that I'm using is still CMHC, so it's not necessarily 20% down. It's probably 30, like it's 70% loan to value type of thing.
Okay.
I can probably go a little bit higher than that, but at this stage, I don't necessarily need to pull the cash out, and rather just have the cash flow kind of thing. So when we're looking at cash flow, it's probably 15K a month type of thing after expenses.
That's after putting aside for the capital expenditure, all the utilities being taken care of. That's just net coming to you after all expenses completely. Okay. No, that's good. So someone who's starting off, who wants to get into apartment buildings, like, is this a good time to get into apartment buildings? And what should they look for? What did you learn from your sort of journey over this 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, regarding timing, I'm not the best guy to answer that question because I've never followed that closely.
Yeah.
I just try to find an opportunity. So I've never known necessarily what the market's peaking at or dropping at. I don't even try to. I just try to, have communication with people that are in the game. So they will know, okay, James is looking for something like this. I found something like this. Okay,
Yeah.
let's work on getting that actually in. So run your numbers regardless of what the market's doing, and if the market says it's bad, but the deal says it's good, then the deal's good.
Yeah.
So as long as the market's going up and down here and you're buying here, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of on the timing side. Regarding on the what do you actually need to get started, is having a really good understanding of the numbers going in and the numbers going out. When you have that exit plan, those numbers on the back end, you can work backwards from that to make sure that your plan, including any like idiot fund that you need for learning, is built in.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, awesome. So I think we pretty much touched base everything in terms of the quick numbers. Now let's go inside and check it out.
Perfect.
So we're in one of the units which is currently getting renovated, as you can see. So as I said, we're in a unit where the tenant turnover is happening. We're renovating the unit. It's pretty much original. So this is like a total 32 unit, you were saying, right?
33 for this one, yeah.
And then what's the typical layout that all the units have?
So in this one, there's some bachelors, but mostly 1 beds and 2 beds. There's some units that have been converted from a 2 bed to a 1 bed. So
You converted from a 2 bed to 1 bed?
to 2 1 beds.
Oh, okay, 2 1 beds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like I didn't do those conversions, but it has been done in this building where there's now like a 1 bed and a bachelor or 2 1 beds. Obviously, your dollar per square foot goes up when you do stuff like that, but your tenant profile changes.
Yes.
So you do have to balance that type of thing.
Yes.
Most of the units in here are 2 bedrooms,
Okay.
and it allows for a tenant profile that really supports the area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at young families, or maybe students, mature students that are going to either Fanshawe or Western, or kind of close by to both.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to make sure that you have a balance so that the building
Yeah,
doesn't get
definitely.
kind of out of control.
Yeah, I like when people convert where, like, if it's a 2 or 3 bedroom and then convert to 1 2 bedroom unit, like, as you said, the price per square foot goes up, and then the valuation drastically goes up if you're adding more units.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So in this particular unit, like, what are we doing here? How much are you spending overall on like a typical rental?
Yeah, so I try to keep the costs as low as possible for obvious reasons. But the main purpose in this unit is just cosmetic. So the walls are passion painted.
Yeah.
The outlets are going to be updated. Just get our ESA, whatever quick permit to do our outlet update.
Right.
All the light fixtures are going to be updated to LEDs. The bathroom, it's going to be more or less left alone, other than big repairs like a missing tile or something. But we add in high efficiency toilets that save a lot of water. High efficiency fixtures in the kitchen and the bathroom that again are low flow, save a lot of water, and that's pretty much it. The floor is just going to be cleaned up.
So you're not going to change the entire like kitchen cabinet or the vanity, just
No.
just mainly paint and anything with the floor, or?
So because we have a tenant lined up already that's viewed this unit as is, they're lined up for September 1st and they know kind of what they're getting into. We've given them a slight discount on rent, but they're also paying a year up front.
Right.
So we know that, okay, if we do these types of renovations, we already have a tenant lined up.
When you want to overspend.
Correct. Like, one thing that I made a mistake of doing when I first started was renovating to the level that I want to stay here, like that type of thing. That's not, it's silly to do that because that's not usually needed, and for some tenants, that's not even good enough.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah.
When we're looking at actually renovating for your clientele, having, you know, your profile, your avatar in mind and working backwards from that is really the key. So, you know, the people that are coming here, it's two older ladies, they're living together, they need one office and one bedroom. They will probably hang some things on the wall. They need, you know, space for their one cat, and they want just a safe environment to live.
Yeah.
They don't care about the frills, they don't care about whatever, they want everything to work, and they want everything to be safe.
That's pretty much it.
That's it.
Okay.
So I don't need to put in quartz countertops, I don't need to put in new cabinets, I don't need to overspend on that type of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, sounds good. So why don't we just go check out the mechanical room, because that's a big part of it. Sure. So this is how a renovated unit looks like. So I think it's everything's pretty basic. You didn't change any structural or anything.
No.
I didn't notice that you opened up a wall here though.
Yeah, like again, because all of this is concrete built, you can do almost anything in here without changing structure.
Okay.
There's no beams or anything that you need to worry about.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, in the other unit that we were in, the wall came out to here roughly, and it's kind of closed off.
Yeah.
So you walk in, and then there's a little doorway to get into the kitchen.
Correct.
I got rid of that because
Just opens up the space quite a bit.
it's huge.
Yeah.
So typically, the layout that the tenants would have in here is a TV kind of on this wall, maybe a sectional or a couch over here, a small work area over here, or a dining room table or something, or they put the dining room table over here if they're not students.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So very typical kind of layout how they would do it, but having that wall here eliminates the accessibility.
Yeah.
Right? So
And then in terms of like, let's say the kitchen, obviously you put stainless appliances. I see that you changed the laminate counters, subway style tiles.
Yeah.
Like how much did you spend altogether here?
So yeah, and breaking it down briefly. So I added a dishwasher. Let's call it $400. The stove and fridge is called $1,000, maybe $1,500, something like that. And we've got the laminate style counters that we don't need anything higher than that in here yet. And the soft close, like kind of nicer cabinets that last a while.
Right.
So the cabinets are probably the most expensive thing here. I could probably get them a little bit cheaper, but let's call it $2,500. And then everything else is another $2,500.
Yeah. So 7,500 roughly.
I call it under that, like about $6K plus maybe $1,000 a month.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's not bad at all. Yeah, because if you're able to do this, like how much of a lift are you getting in rent per unit?
It's huge, right? So, for example, if we're going from the unit that we saw previously, where I'm not renovating, that's around $1,700, maybe $1,750. Something like this used to be rented for $1,950, is probably maybe $1,850 now. So $1,200 a month. Let's call it 5.5 cap.
Yeah.
I don't know the math on that, but it's significant enough to be worthwhile to spend.
100%. Yeah. I'll put those math on the screen right there. Okay. Cool. Let's go to the mechanical.
Sounds good. One of the things that I had first started doing was putting in tile temp surrounds.
Yeah.
And the materials would be maybe $350, labor maybe $750, that type of thing.
Right.
Let's call it $1,000 roughly for a surround. And what I realized is that putting in one of these vinyl or acrylic surrounds, it doesn't change the rent at all. So, you know, something like this maybe costs $200, $300. The labor is maybe an hour versus $1,000, and it doesn't change the rent that much. The longevity is about the same. And
easy to clean. The water doesn't go through the grouts or whatever, right? So
exactly, no grout staining. Obviously, the caulking, we need to change it pretty much every tenant turnover, but that's a very easy job.
Right.
The cleaners will come through after that, and that's pretty much done. But compared to tile,
How much are you spending on reno for a washroom though?
washroom, like it's sub $5,000. I have to look, but
Okay.
it's probably closer to $3,000.
Okay.
Like the top, like if you just want to go through it quickly, the biggest expense in here is the toilet. Really, it's a fancy high efficiency toilet that's like $300-400. But
Yeah.
the tub is like $300. The surround's $200, and the vanity's another $200. Let's call it $1,000 there.
Right.
The mirror is like $80. The fixture's another $300, and some other like the towel bar and
The hanger.
the shower curtain rod and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then some labor. You know,
Yeah.
you call it like, let's call it $2-3 grand generously, and you're in good shape.
Good.
Every time we do any bathroom turnover, we always have shut-offs as well.
Shut-off valves for each bathroom?
Correct.
Okay.
So that allows us to change things quickly in the units without having to shut the whole building down.
Right.
Versus what we had to do before. But the problem is, like for example, we're on the 3rd floor here.
Yeah.
The water has to drain below this level.
Right. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in the basement and something happens, the entire building has to drain
Yeah. That's
before, and
That's
it could take hours, and your plumber's being paid that entire time.
That's true. Yeah.
So the shut off long term saves quite a bit. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that happened in here. So this unit, I was evicting a non-paying tenant. He realized he was going to be evicted and disappeared.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I mean, good that he left normally, but he ended up giving his keys to some random homeless people that ended up coming in here and squatting. Like they don't have a lease, they don't have anything, right? They just have the keys to get in and out.
Right.
And they were in here until the actual eviction with the sheriff.
Okay.
Literally dragged them out.
Yeah.
You can see if you look like kind of closely here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what that is.
What is that?
That's cockroach food.
Holy, not much.
Yeah. So the cabinets were obviously on the walls and the cockroaches.
Infested everything.
Yeah, living here. It's pretty disgusting state of living. There was a water leak in here as well. That's obviously
So
repaired now.
you just had no idea to know whether someone's living here or not, or?
Like I knew they were living in here, but I couldn't legally remove them without the sheriff. But that takes time.
Yeah.
So in that time, they really beat the shit out of the place. And
So they cut the drywall?
no, I mean, so like this is the stuff that our team has done after that
Okay.
to prepare this for renovation. So we need to clean all this up.
Yeah.
We need to replace the kitchen. We need to get new appliances. We need to fix all the water damage, everything like that.
It's a costly finish.
Yeah. So this one, you should expect, about $15,000 in renovations here.
Oh wow, okay.
So
And what about here? Like I see the paint just coming off.
yeah. So like the
Is that-
wrong type of paint was used first of all, or maybe the wrong type of primer.
Yeah.
So all of this needs to be scraped off first.
Yeah.
Primed and then repainted. Stuff like that needs to be cleaned really well, obviously for health and safety reasons. You don't necessarily need to replace the drywall,
Yeah.
but you might need to.
Yeah.
So first we'll clean it, then we'll check, and then we'll replace if needed.
Okay.
Like any moldy drywall around the base, we need to check and
Yeah.
replace. But this is like kind of the in process part of it. So
So is this your first time that the tenant is giving you a headache in this particular property, or?
oh no, I've done maybe a few hundred evictions by now, I think.
That's an expert at this point.
I don't know if expert's the right word, just learned from my own mistakes
Yeah.
enough to do it properly now.
Right.
It's always the same problem. People know their rights,
Yeah.
but not their wrongs.
Yeah.
So you have people that are not paying rent, and they are always confused when I evict them. In my opinion, not paying rent is theft.
Yeah.
And I think it should be treated as that way, rather than kind of pay whatever.
So when someone misses on rent payments, like, do you give them a little bit of slack there for
Definitely.
a month or two?
It always depends on the person. Like, so
Yeah.
for example, one of our tenants upstairs, she had a big medical issue that caused her to lose her job and go on EI.
Yeah.
There's a gap between when you go on EI and get paid from EI, as an example, or you get paid from ODSP. And she would pay, $75 here and there whenever she could. This thing it dragged on for maybe a year almost.
Wow. Okay.
Where she was like making small payments here and there, and her arrears ended up being close to $10,000.
Wow. Okay.
But there was always like a letter of support from her doctor, a letter of whatever from ODSP, a letter of this from EI.
So it was a genuine
a
reason.
communication, a story. It's easy to work with someone like that
Right.
versus someone like this. They're not talking to you, they're not emailing, they're not answering, they're not anything. they're not paying on top of that,
Yeah.
and they're damaging things.
Right. So for something like this, is there like an insurance that would kick in if the tenant completely damaged a particular unit?
I've only used insurance one time for a tenant eviction. So I had filed the paperwork for the eviction. The guy at that point had owed $28,000,
Okay, that's a lot.
and it just took time, right? So every 2 months, it's another $4,000, $4,500 that's owed, and the hearing took 6 months. So it just adds up and adds up and adds up. And when he knew he was going to get evicted and removed from the property, then he just started destroying everything.
Right.
So I filed an insurance claim for that.
Okay.
But something like this, like $15,000, I'm not going to file an insurance claim for.
Yeah, no, for sure. So does the insurance also take care of the rents that they missed out, or just damages?
No, that's a lost income on the corporation. So
Yeah. Okay.
you have some capital gains and some capital losses, and then other losses as well. So it's worked out that way. You need to balance everything, but you know, in a unit like this, 1 bedroom, I know the camera doesn't see the bedroom yet, but you have like a stove,
A full kitchen. So this
full
is one
kitchen,
bedroom
just a
unit type
straight,
layout.
yeah, and then everything would kind of be up here, maybe the TV on the wall, and couch over here, a little dining set or something.
So still pretty spacious.
And then the whole bedroom with doors that close it off. So
that's good.
The bathroom needs to be renovated as well. Again, so like 5K, 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 15K, and you're done.
Yeah. Okay.
We had an eviction of a guy that was smoking, playing loud music at all hours, letting random people in and out of the building, all this type of stuff that was causing a lot of disruption to this whole floor and the rest of the building too. The eviction ended up taking maybe 6 or so months to do, and on this one it was an N5, so that's like causing disruption and that type of thing. The other ones that we were talking about are on an N4, so in Ontario, that's for non-payment of rent. And typically in the past, the timelines were crazy, like 8 months, 9 months until you just get a hearing. Now it's 2-3 months. So the days are kind of gone where tenants can, you know, get away with.
We used to call them professional tenants, right?
Yeah.
They just
Well,
live there for free.
They're still professional tenants, but they've had to get much smarter. And I don't necessarily want to provide a playbook, but if like I was a tenant and a landlord was trying to evict me, it would be extremely difficult.
Yeah, because you know everything basically, right? So
There's a bunch of loopholes.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of, like, in my opinion, and maybe this is not a popular opinion, but I actually think the landlord-tenant board rules in Ontario are pretty fair.
Okay.
The thing that makes it unfair is the accommodations given to the tenants when they break the rules and the timelines that delay the justice, essentially.
Yeah.
So if those two things are kind of balanced, then the rules that are actually in place.
So whether it be an N4 eviction where non-payment of rent or N5 is a disruption or like chaos or whatever, and like is it the same time for eviction like right now that we see, or?
So kind of the process would be an N4 would be served to the tenant. 15 days later, you can file it with the landlord-tenant board. That's an L1 application, and then you wait for a hearing.
Okay.
Now that's happening within 2-3 months. At the hearing, you go through the process and show like, hey, they're not paying me rent. The tenant has an opportunity to present their side of things, like why are you not paying rent? And the adjudicator would say, okay, you would have a standard order where you're just evicted in 11 days unless you pay, or maybe there's a payment plan and there's something called the Section 78 clause. So it's basically saying you will pay this every single month to catch up on your arrears, and you have to pay your regular rent, and you have to pay the filing fee. And if you don't make one of these payments, the landlord can file for your eviction without another hearing.
Oh, okay.
So that's the typical process, but that could take, you know, from the date of service, let's just say it's August 2nd that you served, you file it on the 16th or 15th, and the hearing is in October. The eviction could be before the end of the year.
Okay, still takes a fair bit of time.
I'd say 6 months is like a pretty standard time frame from service to eviction right now.
Right. Okay. No, fair enough. So in this particular unit, I guess like you were able to get it done everything in 6 months.
This one took a little bit longer, but this was a little while ago.
Oh, I see. Now, is this an inherited tenant that you have? Okay.
Yeah. So this guy was blasting music day and night. It's concrete, so the noise doesn't travel well, but it was loud enough that people outside were complaining.
Okay, yeah, I see.
You know, like these guys were complaining.
Okay.
So, you know, something had to be done. and we have cameras, 30 cameras in the building. We're able to collect footage that way. We're able to, you know, have people knock on the door and talk to them, collect evidence that way. It just basically documents everything and file.
So also, when you say it's a concrete building, obviously exterior walls are concrete blocks. What about the joists and everything?
This is all concrete, middle's concrete.
Oh, really?
That's why like noise and smell transmission is extremely low in this building.
Okay.
So you can.
So what's the typical life for a concrete build?
50 plus years.
More than definitely a wood frame.
Definitely, yeah. So like you have the economic life of a building.
Yeah.
And that can be extended here and there, of course, but I would say, you know, the last appraisal on this building, the economic life was deemed to be about 50 years.
50 more years.
Yeah.
Right? And then which year was this built?
70s, 60s,
Okay.
something like that. So
Okay. 100 years at that point. Okay, cool. Let's check out the boiler room.
sounds good.
In the laundry room, I see that we have 2 machines, 2 washer and 2 dryer, and obviously you have like a card payment system rather than a point system. So what have you done here?
Yeah, these are just rented. I can't remember exactly. I think it's $1.35 a day per machine.
Oh, the machines are
The
rented.
machines are rented, and it's automatic.
Automatic,
So
yeah.
Anytime there's an issue, the tenants can just scan it through their app. Like the app does everything. Right. It even tells them, okay, I have 11 minutes left. There's 3 machines available, whatever. Everything's through the app there.
Right.
For the older tenants that maybe don't have a phone like that or don't want to use the app, then we have the card.
Okay.
You can recharge the card over here.
I see.
It's connected to the internet. So we have cameras to monitor everything.
Yeah.
We've got a light sensor and a humidity sensor. Obviously, we need to do some repairs. This just was installed, so we
Yeah.
have to do some repairs from the humidity damage that was in here before.
How much does the laundry bring in as in terms of revenue?
Net, it brings in around $500 a month.
$500 a month.
Gross is about 1,000.
Okay.
But there's costs that I need to like profit share with them as well.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So if this breaks down, like it's free of cost basically, or
Yeah, like
when
they're
you're
leased machines, so
Yeah.
they take care of everything.
Okay.
Literally anything happens, they do it all. It's more like obviously I could make $500 more a month by not using them.
Yeah.
I just
It's just not
for
worth the
the
headache.
amount of use that this gets. I just don't want to. Maybe that's just me being lazy, but it's just not something I need to think about.
Fair.
That tenants can just self-manage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So altogether, you mentioned something where like some of the 2 bedrooms were changed into like different bedrooms.
Yeah.
So how many meters do we actually have?
I think it's 31.
Okay.
31 meters. So there's a couple, like so for example, unit 6 that we were just in,
Yeah.
that actually services unit 6 and 7, and I think it's unit 101. That one actually services unit 101A and B.
Okay. I see.
So
So when you charge rent, are you charging rent plus utilities and
typically,
just for those units you probably have to have it included?
I just have it set like flat fee.
Oh, flat fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the most of the meter handling, like I don't obviously have to think about it because the tenants get it into their own name.
Right.
For some of the legacy tenants, that is still on me.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's offloaded. Then we have our security system. We have our drop box system for tenants moving out. They just put their keys in when they're leaving.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So like the electrical, has this been updated anytime like since the property was built back in the day?
I don't believe so.
Everything
I
is
think
original.
I think this is original. Obviously, the meters are like smart meters and this thing and that thing now.
Yeah.
So they've been updated, but the actual electrical in the building here, it has not been.
Okay.
There's other things in the units that have been updated,
Right.
but that's a separate ESA permit and that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Previously, one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about that we were talking about before was the copper and PVC.
Yeah.
So like this is an example of a copper pipe here
Right.
that
Yeah.
is
That's the sewer, right?
yeah, it would be kind of coming towards the end of its economic life and needing to be replaced within the next maybe 5-10 years.
Now, how much would that cost? Because it's obviously a giant building. You have a lot of length and whatever.
Yeah, you kind of replace it as it comes. So,
And then you probably go PVC at this point.
oh, definitely.
Right.
Or the fire safe version of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Do you know how much that would cost for?
it's really kind of section by section, right? So let's just call it materials and labor or something like that. If this were the issue here, you're calling like $300.
Okay, I see. So in terms of, let's say, like, obviously the roof, all the structural, like, how much are you putting aside for capex?
Typically, my capex reserve is around 5%
5% of the total rent you're collecting. Okay, it's not bad.
of gross.
Of gross, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Not necessarily rent collected, but what is expected.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the vote. Your system, is it expensive to maintain or?
No. Like it's pretty. What you're looking at here is the 4 water heaters.
Yeah.
So these provide hot water for showers and cleaning and that type of thing.
Right.
The boilers are the tankless ones that
Yeah.
we have. So those ones, you're maybe spending $12,000 to $15,000 per. And we have a slave and master situation. I don't know what the politically correct term for those is right now, but essentially one is the main and one's the support. And it's the same thing that's happening here.
Okay.
We have kind of the main,
Yeah.
and then these are just like reserves.
Reserve support,
So
yeah.
this one needs to be replaced probably next year,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe the year after that. It's about two grand, maybe 3.
What's the typical life of these water tanks?
A long time.
Long
A
time.
really long. I would strongly recommend people don't rent this stuff.
Okay, yeah, just buy and hold.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's very low maintenance. Like maybe once a year we get people come in and like flush it just to clean it out and that type of thing. But
So you're in tie-up with like regular maintenance guys that always comes and checks
It
once
can
a
be
year.
a
Kind of
handyman.
thing. Yeah. Okay.
really a handyman that can just do this. It's not. You don't need a specialized plumber or specialized trade to do something like that.
Right.
Like even for a typical homeowner, you're expected to take care of your water heater,
Fair
right?
enough,
So
yeah.
pretty
Okay.
low
No,
skill
that's good.
required.
Good stuff.
I know it's messy in here.
Okay, that's it, you guys. So that was the end of the video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, found some value in it, and if you did, make sure to share with someone who would also find value in it as well, and then subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading more of these videos. Comment in the section, like if you guys want to see more of these older buildings or newer buildings, or if you want me to talk about more about CMHC MLI Select, because that's more a hot topic as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.